this quick because I've already filmed this twice and my camera died on me. But hey guys, it's Alyssa, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video breaking down some of the singing techniques that I use, just because this video has been requested by a few people, and I have had words. I have gotten a lot of comments asking, how do you sing like that, or how do you accomplish this with your voice? So I just felt like kind of taking a literal approach and inviting you guys into some of the techniques that I use to produce certain sounds. Now, obviously, everybody has a unique quality to their voice, so everybody's going to have a unique tone. Even if you're doing the same techniques, you're not going to sound the same, which I feel like you guys know, but I'm just putting it out there. And quick disclaimer, I am not a vocal coach. I have been singing for a long time, but I am not a professional. Just keep that in mind. So, the first thing that I like to, well, not like to do, but the first thing that I kind of do with my voice is baby voice. So that's kind of like a dumbed down terminology for using like a brighter tonality with your voice, which can be accomplished by putting some of the note through like your nasal pathway. So what I mean by this is kind of, like, here's an example. I could sing Lovely by Billie Eilish like, isn't it lovely all alone? But singing it with a more nasally tone or with a little bit of that baby voice would be going, isn't it lovely, all alone? Which both sound okay, but I feel like the second one has a little bit more personality, which is why I think that I tend to do that with my voice. And then another part of that baby voice is kind of vocal pronunciation. So if you're in choir, then they're gonna tell you to pronounce your consonants and vowels a certain way, because when you're in choir, it's not about sticking out and having your unique personal voice, it's about blending in with the choir. So there's nothing wrong with what they're going to tell you, but they're going to tell you to use tall vowels like ah instead of ah, because in a choir it's not going to sound pretty. It might sound okay when you're singing on your own, singing solo, but in a choir that doesn't sound pretty if everybody's going you know. And then also consonants, you're going to want to make them crisp. So an example that I can think of is pronouncing the word serious. So that's a word that I say in one of the songs for my upcoming debut album, and how I sing it is, but you never took me serious. Now, I could give it a hard R, like serious, but I feel like that's a little too straightforward. But then if I go serious, that nobody knows what I'm saying, so I kind of do like a mix between them where I kind of bend the R a little bit into serious, which I feel like also adds a little bit more personality. And moving on to the next tip. The next tip or technique that I want to talk about is switching between falsetto and chest voice. So if you don't know anything about singing, basically, I can't really give you an anatomy lesson on where exactly head voice and chest voice is coming from. I don't know if their names have anything to do with where exactly that's coming from, but head voice would be, isn't it lovely? And then chest voice would be, isn't it lovely? Which chest voice is more belting. Now, I don't know if I default to using my falsetto for higher notes just because I am an alto, so my tessitura, which is where I feel comfortable where my range is most comfortable, is in that lower register. And so when I get to high notes, after a certain point, I can't really belt, so I kind of default to falsetto or that head voice. But I think that what a lot of people have pointed out with my singing is my vocal cries or the voice cracks, or I kind of like try to seamlessly switch between the head voice and the chest voice. But basically how I accomplish that is those vocal cracks or those voice cries, it's really just a matter of switching between head voice and chest voice, which has to do with how I push my air out. So an example is in my song, I Don't Care. I go, I don't care. So at the end of that note, of that phrase, then I switch into my chest voice for that more shouty tone. But I start in my falsetto like, care. So when you hear that switch between but when you hear that switch between those two parts, then it kind of comes out as like a vocal cry. The last thing I'm going to be talking about is breath support, which kind of ties into what I just said, but breath support is something that honestly as a singer I've never been great at. Even when I was in chorus, then the teacher would be like, okay, we're all going to hold up this note to this point. You can't take a breath until this point of the song, and I would always be trying to sneak in breaths. But breath support is going to help you with high notes, low notes, and a lot of vocal runs. If you're singing a run like, "I," and you don't have the right breath behind it, then you might not hit all the notes in the run. And a singing breath, a proper singing breath, any vocal coach, any chorus teacher is going to tell you, shouldn't come from the chest. It's not like your chest is not supposed to rise, whereas your stomach is supposed to rise because you're taking that breath from your diaphragm. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because I'm wearing a flowy shirt, but okay, there. If I'm taking a singing breath, my stomach is going to go out. And I had a chorus teacher kind of explain it as saying po, but backwards, like that singing breath. And I felt like that was a very helpful tip. But just to keep in mind, I am not a professional. If you want to get more professional tips or get more explanation on how to accomplish these things, I would watch a vocal coach. One that I really like is Tristan Paredes. I feel like his videos are very spot on with the vocal tips. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and look out for that debut album. Bye.